The charity gala hall shimmered with crystal lights and quiet elegance. But inside Evelyn's heart, none of it mattered. She stood near the window, gripping a glass she hadn't touched, her eyes fixed on the city below. To the world, Evelyn was a powerful millionaire philanthropist, strong, composed, untouchable. But tonight marked 10 years since her daughter Lily had gone missing, and the ache in her chest felt just as raw as it had on the first day. No amount of wealth had been able to fill the silence Lily left behind. Evelyn had funded searches, hired private investigators, and even built an entire foundation for missing children. Every lead had ended the same way, with hope collapsing into grief. The police eventually stopped calling. Friends stopped mentioning Lily's name, but Evelyn never stopped waiting. She attended events like this to honor her foundation, smiling politely while carrying a pain no one could see. As the evening progressed, Evelyn stepped away from the crowd, overwhelmed. That was when she noticed a young girl standing alone near the service corridor. The girl looked about 15, wearing a simple blue dress, her dark hair tied back neatly. She didn't belong among the wealthy guests, yet her eyes were fixed on Evelyn with a seriousness that made her pause. Before Evelyn could turn away, the girl gathered her courage and stepped forward. Her voice trembled slightly as she spoke. "Ma'am, I know that missing child." The words struck Evelyn like a physical blow. Her breath caught and the room seemed to tilt. She had heard false hopes before, psychics, liars, attention seekers, but something about the girl's expression stopped her from dismissing her outright. There was no excitement in her eyes, only certainty. Evelyn lowered herself into a nearby chair, suddenly weak. "What did you say?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The girl swallowed. "Your daughter. Lily Hart. I know her." For a moment, Evelyn couldn't speak. Her hands shook as she placed the glass on the table. Tears blurred her vision, but she forced herself to stay calm. "That's not something you say lightly," she replied. "How could you possibly know her?" The girl introduced herself as Sarah. She explained that she had grown up in a small coastal town, raised by a woman who claimed to have rescued her and another little girl years ago. That other girl had been slightly older, with a birthmark shaped like a crescent near her collarbone. Evelyn's heart pounded violently. Only family knew about Lily's birthmark. Sarah continued, describing details no newspaper had ever printed. The lullaby Lily used to hum. The way she hated peas but loved strawberries. The scar on her knee from falling off a swing. With every word, Evelyn's composure shattered. Tears streamed down her face as years of buried hope surged to life. "Where is she?" Evelyn sobbed. "Is she alive?" Sarah nodded slowly. "Yes, she's alive, but she doesn't know who she really is." Evelyn broke down completely, covering her face as silent cries shook her shoulders. For the first time in a decade, her grief was mixed with something else, hope, terrifying and beautiful. She reached out and gripped Sarah's hand. "Please," she pleaded, "take me to her." Days later, Evelyn stood in front of a modest seaside house, her heart threatening to burst from her chest. When the door opened, a young woman stepped out, confused by the visitors. She had Evelyn's eyes, the same gentle curve of the smile. Time seemed to stop. The girl stared at Evelyn, a strange familiarity stirring within her. "Do I know you?" she asked softly. Evelyn couldn't speak. She reached into her bag and pulled out a faded photograph, a mother and daughter laughing in a park. The young woman gasped, her hands trembling as memories long suppressed began to surface. "My name is Lily," she whispered, tears forming as truth finally found its way home. Evelyn collapsed into her daughter's arms, crying openly, unashamed. 10 years of pain poured out in that embrace. The world faded away as mother and child clung to each other, reunited at last. Sometimes miracles don't arrive with noise or drama. Sometimes they come quietly, through the courage of a girl who dares to speak the truth, and a mother who never stopped believing.